What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Eurythmics, and we're going back to their 1989 album, We Tour One. And the next tune is The King and Queen of America, which is an interesting phrase, to say the least. Sometimes Elvis Presley is referred to as the king, and in American pop culture for decades, maybe waningly so these days, but, you know, if you said the king, many people would assume, or at least hypothesize, that you were talking about Elvis, but not so much when it's in conjunction with Queen, which, you know, Reagan and his wife, who were very prominent in, you know, political and cultural, the public eye during the 80s, during the Reagan presidency. They had recently left power. I suppose it could be a reference there, but ultimately, if it's not one of those things, I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Obviously, you know, the U.S. doesn't have a monarchy, so it wouldn't be in any formal capacity. Keen to hear what I can pick up on a first listen. Let's listen. This is the Eurythmics. The track is The King and Queen of America, and it's from their 1989 album, We Two Are One. this point before, and no, I'm not about to talk about fade outs, but I feel like I haven't made it for a while. And that is that Dave Stewart is one of the luckiest producers around, and that he gets, or at least, during the phase when they were um, doing Eurythmics, that he got to write for one of the best voices in the world, that, he got to use Annie's multi-vocal talents to craft songs. I feel like is another example where her voice, especially in the latter stages, just takes it to another level. But I like all the Sonics. I love those kind of late 80s keyboards, kind of loud and like really bright, but still sort of like, maybe not low, but certainly not overwhelming in the mix, not like front and center, just kind of supportive. I enjoyed also those supportive, edgy kind of guitar stabs, like mixed with the keyboards in particular. And then when the brass came in, there was a slight like Latin brass touch to it, not overwhelming again, but just a little bit of the flavor of the brass work had a bit of that sound. So yeah, I love the way they all came together. Lyrically, I'm still unsure. There was a line, what was it, like Queen of Nothing, and then there was like, I think it was Queen Again, or like maybe it was the line before that, but I think it was a repetition of Queen, and neither of the depictions sounded good. Again, Queen of Nothing sounds like, you're promising things, but in the end you're not really delivering, or, there's no real substance to what you say. And I feel like, again, the other line that I'm not remembering clearly was similarly critical, as apparently a car alarm goes off outside, because why not? My brain's trying to think, and it's trying to compose thoughts when sounds are incredibly unavoidable, which I guess is the point of a car alarm, right? Literally, what was I saying? Oh, right. So those two lines felt very negative, but there were other lines that felt at least not necessarily connected to that, and like things in the sky, and it felt like it was very conceptual at the same time. But before my brain breaks, oh, thank God. Or think, Jeff or whoever turned off the car alarm. Yeah, the themes seemed complicated, but if I had to guess, it was more serious and less, referencing someone like Elvis or whatever. Indeed, I don't think that had anything to do with it whatsoever, and was, skeptical in that regard in advance. But ultimately, yeah, it felt like maybe it was saying that, or perhaps identifying certain aspects of politics or society or culture in the U.S. as actually being like monarchical, even if not in name, something to that effect. So I would be curious to hear what people have to say about this one. But again, Annie's voice, it's like I'm thinking about all the different things, in particular the keyboard, those bright sort of 80s, late 80s keyboard chords really like hit me, and then suddenly it was just like, oh my God, like Annie, just, my brain was dramatically turned toward the vocal work. So yeah, another cool tune. Looking forward to the rest of this album. I was keen when to read that Izzy said this is a top album for him. So bottom line, shout out to Philip.